now at the table is Democratic Congressman Jasmine Crockett of Texas and the newly elected Vice Chair of the Democratic National Committee, Malcolm Kenyatta. And I really wanted to talk to you two today because I think a lot of people out there are like, what are Democrats doing? What can we get excited about? We need some fire in the belly. You both have fire in the belly. So thank you for being here. Congressman, let me start with you. What do you think? There's this question about what leverage, and you have to be really creative. There's only so much leverage, different kinds of leverage you can use in the minority. What do you think about this notion of threatening a government shutdown, and how far do you think it should go?
Yeah, so I don't think that this is really a threat of a government shutdown. Here's the reality. They believe that they have a mandate. They believe that this little itty-bitty win that they had, where this is a slimmer majority in the House than they had when I swore in, they believe winning over the Senate, they believe winning the White House, that they have a mandate. And listen, my policies don't align with that mandate. So if you believe that this is what the American people want, then get it done. All of y'all, because y'all have a Trump trifecta. But don't come to us for me to do things like tear my community apart by making sure that we get rid of the Department of Education, by making sure that Elon Musk somehow and his little cronies, and just to be clear, if you're talking about, somebody sent me a meme today and it said, if Elon Musk was really serious about cutting out waste, then why wouldn't he go get a bunch of accountants? Instead, he went and got computer programmers. That tells you what this is. It's a nefarious thing that they're up to. And we know that we are probably going to have difficulty with them complying with the law. But right now, we know that in the House, they're going to have 217 to 215. What that means for everybody sitting at home is that they literally cannot lose one vote. So go be great.
Go be great. So I ask about the government shut. You're right. There's no up or down vote should we shut the government down, as people are talking about this, so to be totally clear. But I think it is one of those things with that narrow vote where Democrats don't have to give in to what they don't agree to, right? So I guess should it be a point of leverage for all the things you're talking about?
I mean, it's the only way that we were able to govern at all in the 118th. Now, granted, there are those, or 117th. Most people argue, listen, y'all weren't getting anything done. And we know that it was the most unproductive session that we've ever had. But when we look at things like the continuing resolution, where we were trying to continue to keep the government open until March 14th, this next deadline, we know that Elon sent out a tweet. And all of a sudden, an agreement that was made by duly elected folk in the House and the Senate, as well as the duly elected president, all of a sudden went up in smoke. And so we can't govern that way. And so there's a lack of trust. I mean, you know this. Obviously, we both came from the state house. We know that the only thing that we have that is considered currency when you are a lawmaker.
You give your word, right?
Is your word.
When you give your word. And I will say, state legislators make the best legislators while they end up in Congress.
Well, there you go. Do you have an announcement for us today? I'm just kidding.
I do not. My announcement is I'm vice chair of the Democratic Party.
And let me ask you about that, because, and I mentioned this because I think it's important for people to understand, like, what levers of power you have and what you don't, right? And obviously people out there watching, they can put Democrats in charge of the House in November. We'll see. But
we're going to do that, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you're the vice chair of the party. You're also a state legislator. When you are seeing what's happening in Washington, what do you wish was happening here? What leverage do you wish Democrats were using?
Well, you know what? I think it's really, important that we're both here today because, the DNC has a really critical role. Politics, everything in politics is about math. Congresswoman Crockett is talking about the math to keep the government open and to continue to fund critical operations. What we're focused on at the DNC is the math of making Hakeem Jeffries the next Speaker of the House. Over the last couple of days, whatever it's been since this guy got sworn in, we have seen a reverse Robin Hood where we're supposed to believe that the wealthiest man in the world is rooting around in our government systems to make life better for the people who live in my district, folks who are one car payment away, one home repair away from losing the safety and security that we all deserve. That is what we're supposed to believe. Clearly, it's BS. It's nonsense. Donald Trump has spent every single day since he's been in office making life worse for working people and working families. And so the question that folks have to ask is, what are folks going to do in this moment? And I think that there's a lot that people can do. And what we've been talking about at the DNC under the leadership of our new chair, Chairman Martin, is getting people to look local. There's people who want to tell you, and it's a big part of their strategy, to get you so worn out, so worn down, to say, hey, if you go to that local protests, what the hell does that matter? If you call your member of Congress, that doesn't make an impact. Everything you do makes an impact, but people should recognize that everything that matters in the world is not happening here in D.C. It was in state capitals where they were gerrymandering maps and making it more difficult to vote. It was at your local school district where they were banning books and trying to rip away our history. And so what we're going to be doing at the DNC, first and foremost, we talked a little bit about this, is also telling our own story, not allowing who the Democratic Party is to be dictated by some editorial board of a newspaper owned by a different billionaire. We're going to tell our own story, and we're doing that with what you've been seeing on our social media every single day, putting out what have Democrats done today. So if you follow us on social media, you will see that.
Yeah, that's right. A good follow. Okay, before I let you go, the minute we have left, what's one thing you hope people watching pay attention to that Republicans are doing that maybe isn't getting enough attention? I'm going to ask you the same question about something happening.
Yeah, so really quick, I'm just going to let everyone know that we do have our first Doge subcommittee hearing this week. So tune in to C-SPAN.
Pop your popcorn.
I'm sure it's going to be there. But I also want to point out, because you brought up Elon Musk, I want to point out that Musk currently is getting billions of dollars in government contracts. And we've not heard about him cutting any of that. And that's coming from defense. Defense currently comprises approximately 16% of our budget. Yet nobody's looking at it. Department of Education is less than 1%. It literally doesn't even register. When we talk about U.S. aid, it's 1.1%. So they're over here playing with you. They're playing in your face, trying to say, go look at this penny over here and ignore the other 99 pennies that we got over here. And that's what I want the American people to wake up and see. They're playing in your face, and I'm going to make sure that you know exactly how bad they're playing in your face.
That is a very good one. Okay, we have to wrap it up, unfortunately. But we're going to have you guys back.
I'll be back. And listen, I'll tell people, get engaged locally in the Democratic Party. We are here. We are ready to fight, and we're going to get some big things done.
And follow you on social media and watch you at the subcommittee for the Doge hearing. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and DNC Vice Chair, you're very busy. Malcolm Kenyatta, thank you both so much.